Let's keep rolling here now. Go to line number 3 and speak with the Liberal member of the House of Assembly, serving the folks in the Cartwright, Lance Clare, Yvonne Jones. Hello, Yvonne. You're on the air.
Hi, Patty. How are you today?
Top shelf today. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm calling now on 2 issues. One, myself and Liberal leader Dwight Ball just finished a press conference, and what we did is basically outline some proposed rules for a special debate on Muskrat Falls in the House of Assembly.
Yeah, fill me in a bit, because I don't really know what went on. So what are you proposing?
Well, basically, we're proposing some things around the time frame for the debate after we receive the information, what the debate should look like in terms of a question period, in terms of the time restrictions and opportunities for people to speak. It includes the ability to be able to call witnesses, to the floor of the House of Assembly. When I say witnesses, I don't mean it in terms of a witness, I suppose, but basically to call people who's been involved in various reports, such as Nalcor and Emera, in analyzing information, such as Manitoba Hydro and Zip Energy and those kinds of groups, the Public Utilities Board, and that, as MHAs, we have an opportunity to question people who did extensive research and provided extensive reports and information around this. And I guess the other thing is that we're asking that all of the debate be televised and that all 3 parties would work together in terms of designing a resolution. So are necessary and should be incorporated into a debate around Muskrat Falls when we look at the nature of what that development contains.
Do you anticipate that there's going to be a procedure offered to the debate that is going to be any different than what you're saying now? I know it might not be straight down the line and satisfy every request you and Dwight made today, but do you think that the debate is going to be structured appropriately?
Well,
Because I do. So I just saw that out there.
Well, we have no idea what a debate is going to look like. I guess right now our parliamentary rules within the legislature do not allow us to basically call in different people in terms of examining information and evidence that they may have presented. We don't have standing committees of the House. So as a result of that, the only way that we're going to be able to do that is through some kind of a special sitting with special rules. Back in June, Dwight Ball did write to Premier Dunderdale asking for some information around how this debate would look, and we didn't receive anything, so we thought it was time now to start a discussion around this. So there was letters went out today to the Premier and to the leader of the third party, and hopefully, what we're looking for and proposing will stimulate some dialogue, and at the end of the day, we'll see a good debate orchestrated for the House of Assembly that is fair and representative of what the public interest is.
How important will the terms of reference, now almost forget for now what comes out in the evaluation of the alternatives, but how close will you examine the terms of reference before you give the credence that the alternatives should be given so far as being costed out and evaluated here for this debate?
Well, obviously once we receive the information, and you have to realize that we haven't received the Decision Gate 3 numbers yet, and we understand that's now being reviewed by Manitoba Hydro International, and we can understand why government would like to have that done, I suppose, before they release all the information. But we do believe that once we receive the information, we're going to need a minimum of at least 3 weeks to review all of that and to have some analysis done on it. And we expect that we're going to have to go outside of our own office, and we're going to need additional resources to be able to do that analysis. So there needs to be a time period to make that happen. And Dwight has certainly been very engaged in this process and in reviewing all the information to date. So it's about building on what we already know and preparing ourselves for the House of Assembly. And it doesn't matter whether whether you support the deal or don't support the deal, I think it's incumbent upon all of us as members to be as informed as we possibly can when we're going to make decisions around future expenditures in this province that are going to affect not only the people today, but people for the next 30, 40 years.
And like I said off the top of the show, as a ratepayer, I need your party and the NDP and everyone involved with ample time to digest what's in these numbers. But as a fundamental question to you, what could possibly be in here that would take a lot of time or catch you off guard? Because it's really just an update of the proposal to make it current so far as numbers go, right?
Yeah, but numbers continuously change, and the other piece of this, and the reason I say that is because the price of crude continuously change. Estimated demand for power can go up and down. There's all kinds of variances in terms of cost overruns. What the price of goods are in the marketplace today. So construction costs can vary from year to year as well. That, and it can have tremendous variances. And we see that every day in the stock market. I mean, we're watching things now with steel, for example, and iron ore, that is just constantly dropped by $50 a ton. Iron ore has just in the past number of months. Now it's starting to rise again. So all of these things are constant factors that can change how a project can look from 6 months out and 6 months back. But
so it's really the same process that you would have applied to the DG2. It's just that with more current numbers. So same thought process, same analysis.
You need the opportunity, but I think more so than that, the most important piece to this is the analysis around alternatives always have to be looked at.
I agree.
Right? And so those alternatives and that analysis is what we have not seen yet. So we have not seen the report yet, with regard to oil and gas. We have not seen anything with regard to wind power. So, there are other alternatives, and government is studying them. They've committed to make those reports available to us as well. So, all of those things will come into play as there's further analysis done and we prepare for a debate in the House of Assembly.
As a member of Labrador, I want to ask you about Keith Russell's comments, but not before I ask you this. Many people say, okay, there's a free vote. Whether or not the government members will be allowed to vote outside the party line, based on what we hear from Mr. Osborne and based on what we think has been the modus of operations for the government, then probably not. They're all going to vote for it. But then people say, Yvonne Jones, sure, how's she going to be able to vote against this? This is important for the folks right there in her riding. She is going to be just as committed to this as many of the Tories, given the fact that your electability comes from not what people in the Avalon, Cartwright, Lance Sinclair. How do you respond to that?
Well, I think it's fair to say that, I see a lot of positive things in any development that could occur in Labrador, especially when it's a short-term economic boom, which is what we're going to see with this. There's always going to be benefits. And so while I see those, I also see a number of things that I have extreme concern about. Those concerns I certainly address as part of the environmental assessment process. And most of my concerns, of course, are around the transmission capacity. Mm-hmm. And what impact that's going to have on the land, on the Strait of Belle Isle, on the communities in my particular area. I'm addressing those issues as well with NALCOR and through the various processes, and we'll continue to do that. I've had ongoing dialogue with groups and individuals in my district, and I can tell you, there's lots of differences of opinions, and and it depends. For example, I have a strong Nunatuavut population in my area who strongly feel that they should be recipients of some kind of royalty benefit as a part of this development, and because it's on their land, and I agree with their perspective on that. So, everybody in Labrador has differences of opinions. They have different views. I think we all see the short-term benefits. I think we all are concerned about what some of the long-term pieces might be for Labrador. And, various people have expressed it in various ways. The only thing that I'll say to you is that I have a vote. Yep. And at the end of the day, I'm going to vote in the best interest of the people that elected me, and I would hope that all people in the House of Assembly would do the same. I'm going to look at what the people of Cartwright and Lance Sinclair want. I'm going to look at how they're going to be best served by this particular development, as I would with any development that was going to occur. And I'll vote based on the feedback I get from them and what's in their best interest. So my concern today, or on that day when I go to vote in the House of Assembly, is not going to be the people in Goose Bay or the people in St. John's. It's going to be the people in Cartwright, Lansinclair, the people who've put their trust in me, and I want to make sure that I'm going to maintain that trust and do what is in the best interest for them.
Another issue that is certainly Labrador specific is the reference by Lake Melville member Keith Russell when he talks about people's spiritual connection to Muskrat Falls. And of course, that would not be something shared by folks on the Avalon or anywhere on the south coast of the island. We don't even think about those things because when they're not right in front of you, it's hard to think like folks. So when he says it's mumbo jumbo, I mean, so two things. I know you're going to condemn him, but other than being a poor choice of words, is there something to what he says?
Well, I don't think there's anything to what he says. In fact, if there's anything that's hogwash and mumbo jumbo here, is the statements that he made himself, and I honestly believe that. And, when I heard his comments, I was actually traveling in Labrador, and the feedback I got was unbelievable. And I can say that, Patty, because in the last 4 days, I covered over 1,200 kilometers of gravel road in Labrador, from Red Bay up to Goose Bay, and I got to talk to a lot of people. And I can tell you right now that most people felt that the only thing was hogwash and mumbo jumbo was what Keith Russell himself was saying. In Labrador, I can honestly tell you one thing. There is a tremendous respect amongst Labradorians for each other's culture, for the land, and for what we believe. There's always going to be differences of political opinions. There's going to be differences in perspectives when it comes to development, and people are going to espouse that. That has always been the society that I have been familiar with and have grown up in. I don't know where Keith Russell's opinion of all of this is coming from, because it's so out of touch with the reality of Labradorians. It is unbelievable. And what I take exception to is how he was so disrespectful to the people of Labrador, not just to the Aboriginal cultures like the Innu and the Inuit and the Métis who have used the river and the trail for hundreds and hundreds of years, and how it is a spiritual place for so many people in Labrador. I not only take great exception to that, but I take exception to the fact that he characterizes the people of Labrador who have a different opinion than him as being something of a lesser nature.
I think it's disgraceful. The choice of words, and I've condemned it, I have no problem with it, to Mr. Russell's face here or live on there, whatever the case may be. But, quickly, could a project like this legitimately be held up because of anybody's spiritual relationship with the land?
I don't think so. People have their own opinions of things that are important to them, things that are close to their culture and that they're very connected with in Labrador. Muskrat Falls is one of those places. So is there a lot of other places. Developments don't normally get stopped based on spiritual belief, but it doesn't change the importance of a place or a location. You have to place to the Innu of Labrador. They have a land claim there. They have a signed agreement.
Of course.
But they have agreed to let development occur in that area based on conditions that they can live with. Does that make it any less spiritual for them today than it was 100 years ago or 5 years ago or 60 days ago?
I don't dispute any of that.
No, it does not. And it's the same for the Nunatsiavut Nation, and the people that Todd Russell represents. It's no different. They're exercising their right. They're trying to achieve a land claim. They're trying to get a royalty from a resource that happens to be in their land. Does it mean that they would never let development occur if they achieve that? Absolutely not. They would probably choose to be a part of it, just like the Innu have done. But to get back to Keith Russell, I want to say this. I appreciate that the Premier is out there and has publicly condemned what Keith Russell has said and distanced herself and her government from his comments. And, you know, I was pleased to see that. I was also pleased to be informed over the last few days that Minister Nick McGrath has been calling around Labrador, making apologies to leaders in Labrador for the comments that his colleague Keith Russell has made in the public and distancing himself from it. But I want to see Keith Russell apologize to the people of Labrador.
I think he owes them one. And based on you saying that, that's the good summary, because I had to get him around so late getting to the break, and I knew that was where we were going to end up with looking for an apology. And I think you're right. I think he owes those folks an apology.
Absolutely. He was disrespectful and disgraceful in his comments, and do the right thing and apologize to the people of Labrador.
Nice speaking with you, Yvonne.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.